Great. So the major social challenge that MzansiGo is trying to face is this whole concept of unemployment. We all know the stats. I'm not going to bore you with it, but in South Africa, we've got about officially 27% unemployment, but there's only a 60% labor participation rate, so that means we're closer to the 40% rate. But what really struck me is this youth unemployment rate of 55% in South Africa. That is the second highest or the highest in the world, depending on which quarter we're in. And unemployed youth does one of two things. They either become disgruntled and they strike and they make our lives difficult, or they start going into trying to create some form of self-employment or entrepreneurship. And a lot of the guys that try and do this, particularly one sector, is in the logistics sector. Whenever they can get their hands on an old car or an old bakkie, they start trying to do refuse removal or mini moving. If, for instance, last night, I just checked this again, going on Gumtree, if you go and search for an informal moving company, just in the Western Cape or in Cape Town alone, you'll get about 2,700 hits of informal people with trucks that are trying to make a living by moving stuff around. The problem with them is it's mostly a cash-based society, so you have to pay cash. You don't have a vetting system. You don't have any references for this person. He pitches up at your house. He drives off with your valuables, and there's no insurance, no nothing. So it's really an inefficient system. So these guys are doing their best to try and make a living. They go to ends meet trying to get finance to buy these trucks, but then really the consumer doesn't really buy into that business model. So all we've done is we've basically selected the best of these guys that we could find, especially the ones with the good quality Hyundai or Kia trucks, and we've put a nice brand on top of them to make them look nice and professional. We've trained their the drivers and their assistants to be able to deliver a professional job. And what we basically then did to have them get access to the formal market is we developed an online platform that basically allows any one of us to go online and within minutes book a move that can come to your property in as little as 45 minutes to pick up your load and move it to the destination where you want it to go. It's an online payment mechanism. You can pay with all the latest payment mechanisms. You get a live tracking link where you can see exactly where your driver is, what his name is, what his references are, and you can see when he's driving off, where he's going with your stuff. And then at the end of the day, if you're happy with your service, you can rate the driver, just to make it more transparent. We don't own any trucks. We don't employ any drivers. We're basically an Uber for moving company. So the business model is simple. We take 25% of the fee that the consumer pays. It's on average, the load prices are about 700 Rand, quite affordable, and we take about 170 Rand per load. We're focusing on these mini moves, apartment to apartment, especially in the urban areas. That's our biggest focus model. We've also got furniture stores that we do deliveries for on a more corporate basis, where we give the corporate a login where they can we give them preferential rates. And then there's also other areas where we can expand into over time. The whole business has only been, from idea to where we are today, has only been about 12 months. It's been in about September of 2017, the investors came on board and invested some money in the business. We've managed to reach break-even within the first 12 months. We've got about 30 employees or drivers that are earning this as their primary form of income. We've managed to distribute about 1.5 million Rands worth of payout to the drivers that have already been in business, but we've managed to increase their turnover by about 400%. So this is basically our expansion strategy. Our idea has been to try and get to break-even as quickly as possible, and now that we know that it can work on a very limited budget, we can scale it to the rest of South Africa and into other sectors as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter. The delivery risk and the insurance, is that catered in the 25% you charge, or is that an additional fee?
Yes, the drivers actually take out that insurance themselves, but we make sure that they take it out. So we cover the risk of damage to the property. The driver takes the risk of the whole accident where all the goods get lost and get damaged. So there's two types of risks. We actually insure in the 25% the damage to goods, yeah. And it's been actually up until now with the 2,500 loads we've only had 5 incidences because we have the driver pay for the damage that they cause to the goods, a part of it at least. So it's a shared risk model between us and the drivers, and it's been working out very well, yeah. We will look into other alternative forms of insurance going forward as well.
If the issue is unemployment, being able to have a vehicle is quite a high bar to clear in order to create this opportunity. Do you have any ideas of addressing that and even just getting a driver's license?
We've decided to go the very low-cost route till now, but yes, I mean, we've identified some really good drivers. What we've actually seen is one of the drivers that came on early have now actually managed to buy 5 trucks already by himself, just because we've increased his income by 400%. So he's been having extra cash every month, earning 35 to 40,000 rand per truck, which has actually enabled him to actually go and buy more trucks on credit. So we haven't needed to provide access to finance for any of the drivers. So these guys they know how to make their way and find some extra cash. So until now, we haven't interfered there.
Yeah, I think besides the drivers, you're also the guys that are working for them. You
Yes.
can increase that opportunity. Just
Yes.
some background on your team and the spread of that. Which who's in the tech space, who's got industry experience, etc., and numbers.
We've only got one employee, and he's the founder, and he's not here, so that's why I'm presenting. We've offshored all our development. The whole platform was built for as little as 50,000 rand, actually. It's a very lean startup. And I mean, I've been involved in many startups, and the idea was here to get an MVP, a minimal viable product that could get us through to break even, and we've managed to do that. And now we're happy to invest more to really give it legs. I mean, so yeah. We will in-source development as we go forward, because to scale and to really get it to a world-class operation, we'll need more capital, yeah.
It feels like quite a clear application of need and demand as well as increasing business. What other applications have you considered using this for?
Well, at the moment, a lot of corporates are busy using it. It's only for moving and logistics and delivery, so third-party logistics. We're focusing on the corporate segment, the furniture stores that want to deliver their products. A lot of them are outsourcing that to third-party logistics providers. We are ideal for that. The mini moving market is quite big in the urban areas, so we think we can grow into that quite a bit still and expand nationally. But we're trying to keep it simple, and our business model and our product is simple. We're not trying to have management deter their focus. We wanted to keep them on what makes most sense now and the low-hanging fruits. And once that's been we don't exactly know where it can go, but if it can become profitable with a very limited budget, we know that it's got legs and it can grow. So we're going to need to get that first mover advantage like Uber had, where you get scale, and because there's not a big competitive moat, so we're going to need to get traction. We've got a good, slick customer service, which we pride ourselves in, but we're going to have to get market access quickly, and we're going to have to scale the opportunity quickly, yeah.
What's been the upside for the businesses or the guys with the trucks in terms of coming onto the platform? So have you been able to measure that
Yes.
level of upside?
On average, about 300% increase in revenue, yeah. So, and that allowed them to employ helpers, some of them as many as 2 per truck, so and create more jobs, and also to buy additional trucks and then employ their helpers. Thanks.